Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through a pair of Game 4s. Denver and the Lakers. Denver up 3-0 tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And Boston and Miami, with Miami up 3-0 tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Surprising turn of events over the weekend, having both these series go to 3-0. We'll cover all the injuries and potential rotation changes along the way. With me to do it, as always, is Mike Gallagher. Mike, how are you?
Doing great. Yeah, both the favorites lose. Boston was a road favorite, and then Lakers were home favorites, plus 195 money line. W for the Warriors. I'm sorry, the Warriors, the Nuggets, not no Warriors dubs. But yeah, it's crazy. The Boston takes are bad. I feel horrible. Worse than my Warriors takes apparently.
Let's start with the Denver and Lakers side of the equation from an injury perspective. Both teams have filed. The Nuggets injury report is clean, so no injuries there. The Lakers side, Anthony Davis and LeBron James both listed probable, as they've been listed all series long. So really no injuries to be concerned about here. So we might as well just dive into rotation and adjustment changes. Let's start on the Denver side, where Christian Brown was basically cut out of the rotation. They went to 7 guys last game. He had a very brief 3-minute stint that ended with a defensive miscue and a timeout, and not seeing Christian Brown again. Do we see Christian Brown return to the rotation? Do we see someone else in his place, or do the Nuggets go 7 tonight?
I think they probably just go 7. As we've been saying, the best way to get Bruce Brown minutes is to just run 7, because Aaron Gordon sure lost some minutes to Jeff Green. KCP has been very good. MPJ has been fantastic. It's tough to get Bruce Brown minutes, so that's the answer. So I think that just running 7 and ensuring that Bruce Brown gets to mid-20s minutes is the answer. So I would kind of lean maybe they give Christian Brown a little bit of leash, but it would probably be 8 minutes tops. I feel like it would just to give somebody a blow. But I feel pretty good that Bruce Brown's going to get his minutes.
Yeah, I think if the series were 2-1, I think Christian Brown would not make an appearance on the court tonight. I think since it's 3-0, you'll probably see a Christian Brown first half rotation that, depending on how well it goes, depends on if he gets a chance at a second half rotation. But that's kind of where I'm thinking right now, is just the fact that they're up 3-0 in the series might allow some leniency in a first half rotation to see how it goes. It doesn't seem like they're interested in trying anyone else at this point. Vlatko Konchar would probably be next in line if they did do something like that. But I think you'll just see a very brief Christian Brown rotation and then move on. The Aaron Gordon not closing in the fourth quarter was interesting, with Jeff Green filling that role. Obviously, the issue that the Nuggets have had offensively when Aaron Gordon is on the floor is LA's willingness to just leave him. And he has not been able to make them pay from an offensive perspective, either from shooting the ball when open or from becoming a facilitator in screen, dribble, handoff type stuff in those situations. He still got to 32 minutes despite not playing any fourth quarter minutes, in part because Nikola Jokic's foul trouble in the third quarter gave him pretty much a full third quarter. What are your thoughts on minutes expectations for Aaron Gordon tonight?
I feel pretty good about them. I think that it was just kind of a one-off situation, so I think he's got a pretty good shot at mid-30s minutes. I think they'll find ways to get him going. The jump shot's been really bad. He had the almost a 3. His foot was on the line for a corner 3 that looked like that. He actually scored a 3 originally, if I remember. But yeah, I think he's pretty safe, just because I think they need him for LeBron. But I think this drop coverage that they've been running has been effective, and it's kept LeBron away from the paint. It's turned him into more of a jump shooter. So, as great as he's been defensively, it's not needed as much. I think the scheme kind of covers up the on-ball defense a little bit. So I think they are probably going to want to close with him, like, for sure. But the floor is a little dicey, though, for sure, since we saw that they are willing to do it for a player who we think is, pretty valuable for LeBron. So, yeah, I feel like he's probably closing, but definitely far from a lock.
What are your thoughts on range there? I'm thinking for Aaron Gordon, it's probably something like low end is like 28, 29, something like
Mhm.
that. And the high end in that 36 to 38 range again. Is that kind of what you're
Yeah.
thinking?
Yeah. I
Okay.
would say 29 to 38. Yeah. So kind of the same page.
Okay. Let's move to the Lakers side of the equation. They haven't had the big lineup change that we've been expecting, which was Rui
Hmm.
Hachimura moving to the starting lineup along with Dennis Schroeder. over D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt. Um, Essentially, Vanderbilt's role was to come in and try to make things more difficult for Jamal Murray, and also improve some size on the rebounding perspective. They rebounded the ball better, but Jamal Murray went for 30 in the first half when Jared Vanderbilt opened. Uh, it seems like the Lakers have one lineup that works in this series. You can't play one
Mhm.
lineup for 48 full minutes, so that's been kind of the challenge. What are your thoughts on the likelihood of seeing the Lakers just start with Schroeder and Achimura in the starting lineup tonight?
I think Hachimura is pretty close to a lock. I would probably say 85% chance he's starting over Vando. And then I think they should pull. I mean, what I think they should do and what they will do are two different things. I think they should for sure pull D'Lo. There is an article from Sam Amick on the Athletic, and it talked about Darvin Ham talking about a conference for D'Lo, and there was a picture in that article. I guess I could pull it up while we're talking here. That D'Lo, like, it was very very odd to see a coach kind of one on one at the side. But I think the best lineup they want to get to is Schroeder, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Rui, and AD. I think they just start that way, right? I think that this makes the most sense to me. So, do you think they would be bold? Yeah, I guess. Do you think that Rui is close to a lock for starters?
I think so.
Yeah.
The other injury that we should note, not listed on the injury report, Mo
Mhm.
Bamba, who is technically then available. Do you think Mo Bamba makes an appearance? Maybe if they slide Riyad into the starting lineup, maybe Mo Bamba takes Jared Vanderbilt's minutes or
Mhm.
something like that. It's been odd how much attention has been paid from a reporting perspective to this Mo Bamba injury. I've been noting this since last round when they were kind of talking like he could be available for the next round. Um, do you think do you think we see Mo Bamba tonight?
I think so. I think so. I don't know. The reporting's odd. And we talked about this on the pod. There's just nothing else to report injury wise. Like, the LeBron thinks fake, the AD thinks fake. They're gonna play. So I think they're just like, okay, what do we talk about this injury related? Let's talk about Mo Bamba. So I don't know. I kind of think he doesn't, but how bad can it be? The non 80 minutes have been pretty bad, so I think he's kind of fine. And yeah, here's a picture of D'Angelo. This looks like a coach telling his starting point guard he's about to bench him, right? The body language is quite clear to me. So I think they do it. So we already took a D'Lo under. He could just get benched again, but feel pretty good. But yeah, I don't have a strong read on Mo Bamba. Um, yeah.
Any other changes to the rotation in terms of do you think we see Troy Brown or Malik Beasley or anything like that? I thought Lonnie Walker was, acceptable in the minutes that he was out
Yep.
there last game, and I think
Better than
just from
D'Lo.
a willingness to take and make 3-point shots, he's a guy that it seems like they have some level of confidence in. So
Mm.
I think, I don't think we see. I think Mo Bamba's the most likely guy to get a test run here in the
Mhm.
Vanderbilt spot, simply because I think in those backup center minutes they might just want some shooting along with the size, because you don't need a ton of size in those non-Jokic lineups where the Nuggets are going with Jeff Green or Aaron Gordon at the center spot or something like that. But I think all of these guys are fairly limited likelihood of getting in. And I think D'Angelo Russell is still going to play a role even if he's benched. Would be
Mhm.
shocking to me if he went completely nuked. I just don't think the alternative options are that great.
Yeah. Well, the counterpoint would be that is a tiny second unit. If they're running a second unit of Lonnie, D'Lo, and then whatever the center is going to be, whether it's Mo or Vanderbilt. So maybe, but as you mentioned, Lonnie's been fine. I don't think he's been the problem. It's just from a size standpoint that's been the issue. They've talked a little bit about how the Nuggets are bigger in certain areas than them, but yeah, I think he's earned a bigger role. So it's. I mean, I think D'Lo. I think I wouldn't be totally shocked if he just gets completely nuked. That would be crazy to see, but I
In
don't know,
that
man. It's
scenario,
pretty
though,
bad.
there would be a new player in the rotation in that scenario.
Right.
So who would
Yep.
be the player that you think would be the new player in the
Probably
rotation if that
Troy,
were to
right?
happen?
Just for more size. Just to put Troy Brown out there for a little more size, I think. Or
Yeah.
it could be Max Christie too. Getting a little bit of length. I think that makes some sense. But I'd probably go Troy first because he was in the rotation earlier in the playoffs, and
Right.
coaches usually like to lean on the veterans for big playoff spots.
Right. All right, let's move to Miami and Boston. Miami listed Kevin Love as probable. There are some question marks over whether that Kevin Love injury was a serious enough injury to keep him out versus, I mean, he asked out of the game. So, like, clearly the injury is what removed him from the game. But, it's questionable to return. He's listed probable kind of right away here. From a matchup perspective, once Boston went small, we had question marks internally whether Kevin Love would even get pulled from the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on this Kevin Love probable tag? Which Miami probable tags, we should also note, a history of questionable probable tags. What are your thoughts on this Kevin Love probable tag for tomorrow?
Yeah, he said he could have returned with the injury. Sounds pretty minor. The Heat had posted. God, these Heat official things are so weird. I'm gonna try to find it really quick, but the phrasing has been so funny. Did they even pull it off their social? Oh, there it is. So the Heat post this on their Twitter, saying that his status actually they pulled it. So they said he was they didn't know what he was going to do, and then they said he was probable. Last night they said they didn't know what his status was. They didn't even say if he was questionable. Very odd, but the fact of the matter is Caleb Martin's just been way, 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 way better. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just start Caleb right out of the gate. Maybe give Love the non-bams. Although that would have been fine. So, but
Yeah.
either way, not expecting a lot of minutes out of Kevin Love tomorrow.
Yeah. From an injury report perspective for the Boston Celtics, they've listed Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, Sam Hauser, Mike Muscala, Luke Cornett, Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Peyton Pritchard, Blake Griffin, and Champagnie, all questionable soul. Is the official injury report. Their souls have been taken from them. Officially, Boston has not filed an injury report. That is just my own injury report that I've labeled for them. Don't expect to have anything on the injury report that would be meaningful in terms of the rotations. But what can we say about Boston, who looked completely heartless in last night's blowout loss?
Yeah, maybe the lucky leprechaun can suit up, but here we go again. Play better, Boston. That's where we're at. Jaylen Brown's been really bad. Jason Tatum listless in most of the game. Horrendous Malcolm Brogdon game. Should mention he's got a wrap on his shooting forearm. He was listed 2 games ago with a forearm strain. Was not listed last game, but man, he had some ugly, ugly shots yesterday. Just nasty work. Curious to see how tight this goes. Do they switch up the starting lineup? Malcolm Brogdon certainly didn't earn it, so I think they probably start the same way again. Joe Mazzola hates this double big lineup for shooting. Yeah, it's bad, man. There's really not a lot of analysis you could dig into just because they just haven't cared enough, and their offense is bad, their defense is worse, and this team who used to be, they were actually asked about it. Malcolm Brogdon, they don't have an identity and they want to be defense, which I agree with. They had no identity yesterday, and Miami had a very clear one, and that was shown in the score.
Any potential rotation adjustments in terms of new players getting into the rotation? We saw Grant Williams play a more prominent role last night. The Cornette, Pritchard, all those guys were just fourth quarter blowout stuff with Sam Hauser as well. But do you think there are any adjustments to make from a rotation perspective for Boston in this one?
I wouldn't be surprised if Time Lord starts over Horford. I mean, they just think they got to change something. The Derek White's been just picked on over and over and over again. Do they go back to double big? I don't think so. So just getting more size in Time Lord, I think, is not a terrible idea. So, but I think they kind of have to start Derek White. Maybe they try Tatum on, and don't give up the switch as much. That's been their big issue. Just give up the switch all day. That's kind of who they play, how they play. So, but I think I'd lean that they generally keep things the same. Maybe Grant Smith's come down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, difficult situation for Boston. We'll see if they come with any sort of heart and intensity for game 4, or if it's 1, 2, 3 Cancun season over on TNT. Any other injury or rotation notes before we get out of here for the pair of game 4s?
Nope, not much. Hopefully, we have 2 games to cover on Wednesday. Might have 0.
That is the next programming note. So, of course, our content in these shows are dependent on the NBA schedule. If we are down to just 1 game left, we'll move the content schedule around to be the day of, because we might not have a filing the day before. So if Los Angeles and Denver ends tonight, we will be back on Thursday or not at all this week, depending on the results of Tuesday. If Denver and LA extend tonight and LA is able to protect home court advantage, we will be back on Wednesday covering at least 1 or 2 games, and then we will see how things go for Friday as well. As always, please support the people who are supporting us. This show is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy. They have daily NBA snake drafts for money, running edition, many formats of NFL best ball contest, still running for huge prizes, including Best Ball Mania 4, the biggest best ball tournament in the industry, $15 million in total prizes. If you're playing NBA Pick'em over at Underdog, in-season subscribers can use our tool to compare ETR projections to their fantasy pick'em games. If you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use promo code ETR for a matching deposit bonus up to $100. That's promo code ETR at underdogfantasy.com. All right, behind the paywall today at 5 o'clock Eastern will be myself and Gary Hartman talking through the game 4 of Denver and the Lakers. So make sure to join us there. We'll be talking about all the different showdown strategy, macro lineup decisions, ways to get unique, good chalk, bad chalk, all the good stuff. Myself and Gary will be behind the paywall at 5 o'clock Eastern. Of course, if you are uninterested in giving us your hard-earned dollars, we do ask for your hard-earned clicks. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, get notifications whenever we go live. And of course, smash that like button and help feed that algorithm. You help feed the algorithm, it helps feed our families. We keep feeding you the DFS injury information and analysis you need to make your prop bets, spread bets, DFS lineups, so on and so forth. So feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We might see you Wednesday, if not Thursday. Keep tuned to our Twitter handle at Established Run NBA for updates on show schedules. Catch you next time.